Yeah.
You know, the right wants to preserve the court as it was meant to be in the Constitution. You know, these guys interpret the law, and then if we want to change the law, we got Congress for that. You know, these and that's not what the left wants. The left wants to take over the court. That's why they fight so vociferously against any constitutionalist, any originalist judge being put on there. And that's why they really went after Kavanaugh. They really went after ACB. And they're really defending KBJ, even though, you know, we're really just going after her record from the bench. They went after, and this speaks to another point that we were going to address, which is the Washington Post, and the left in general has been saying this, but the Washington Post editorial board, they put out an article this past week that basically made the case that Judge Kavanaugh in his confirmation hearings was treated better than KBJ. That Republicans are being harder on KBJ than Democrats were being on
Which
Kavanaugh.
is just false, because the difference is senators are asking KBJ, they are seriously criticizing past rulings.
Yes.
Which, yeah, you know, that can be mean.
Right.
But Brett Kavanaugh was called a rapist.
Yes.
And that is 10 times harsher, worse, and more, and just seriously damaging.
So just to let you decide for yourself, you know, you kind of that those clips from Hawley, those clips from Lindsey Graham's questioning, that was kind of the harsher end of how the confirmation hearing has gone for KBJ. We have a compilation for you of how the media, of how politicians were acting, what they were saying about Kavanaugh during the Kavanaugh hearings. Take a look and decide for yourself who was treated worse.
Really, guess who's perpetuating all of these kinds of actions? It's the men in this country, and I just want to say to the men in this country, just shut up and step up.
It's going to be about, it comes down to credibility, to your point, Gail, and it's going to be about listening to what each party has to say, but I believe her.
And the only good thing, literally the only good thing that I can see coming out of this is that Dr. Ford becomes an American hero.
Her testimony today was a towering act of courage given the trauma she survived, her grace and composure under unimaginable pressure, which she owed no one, was stunning.
If Dr. Ford would have been that angry on the stand and would have talked back to somebody questioning her, women aren't supposed to do that, but he can get away with it.
So you're seeing on display a metaphor of like what this party is, and just basically just ignorant white men.
Up on that committee said, yeah, but we want our guy on the Supreme Court, and that's you, Brett. That doesn't mean you're guilty, but please, save your indignation that finally someone is taking one woman's accusation of sexual assault seriously.
Yeah, funny how that one woman just so happened to be that one case when they took it seriously, just happened to have no evidence behind it, and it happened to be in one of the biggest, you know, confirmation hearings we've had in a long time.
Yeah.
Given the circumstances with Trump and how that was the seat that was not the seat that got held over from Obama. Never mind. But still, that was a huge deal. You know, they were talking like this would forever change the court. And by the way, Kavanaugh has not been a right-wing extremist from the bench.
No,
you know,
he's actually been disappointingly centrist for Republicans.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's not like all of our hopes and dreams were fulfilled.
But, you know, all of those people, politicians, Kamala Harris, you know, pretty much every I can't remember a Democrat other than maybe a couple of the centrists that didn't basically treat Kavanaugh like he was a rapist, talk about him like he was a guilty rapist.
Oh yeah, it was all about holding up Dr. Ford as, you know, the survivor of sexual abuse, which I want to be clear. Sexual abuse and sexual accusations, you know, I think the right sometimes has a tendency to gloss over them, and they should be taken seriously, but they should be taken seriously when there is evidence.
Yes.
And when there is real cause. And in this case, that did not seem to be the case.
And there were a lot, you know, towards the beginning. I do remember a good amount of conservatives that were like, okay, let's sit back. Actually, the Republicans looked into it. Like,
yeah, they were like, if we have a sexual assaulter going on the bench, we need to pull that real quick.
let's figure out what the truth is. They did that, you know, and then I think there's this great article if you want to really see how ridiculous the Christine Blasey Ford accusations were. Go to the Federalist, read 21 reasons not to believe Christine Blasey Ford's claims about Justice Kavanaugh. They just list off all these reasons. You know, she changed her story a million times. Her friends said that they didn't believe, you know, the story.
Yeah.
She didn't start you know, the first reported case of her talking about this was as Kavanaugh was coming into prominence.
Yeah.
It was just all very convenient. And there have been serious incentives, serious rewards that she's gotten for speaking out on this.
Right.
They have treated her like a hero. And yeah, that is a lot worse than how KBJ is being treated.
So much worse. And I mean, for anyone who remembers a couple years ago during the Kavanaugh hearings, just the gravity that the media gave to it, and just honestly, if you go back and watch the videos, it was really, I mean, it was a cage fight. It was messy. It was not pretty, and it was a real show that the Democrats were just willing to, you know, do whatever it took to take someone down.
Well, and polling wise, that whole event ended up being a huge win for the right and a huge loss for the left and a huge loss for mainstream media outlets.
Right.
You know, trust in those outlets had been declining for several years before that, but you really, in that polling from that time, I'll have to go back and look at exactly what it was, but I remember that the polling really started taking a shift.
Oh,
then.
yeah.
Like, oh yeah, no, I don't trust the media because obviously they're not telling me both sides of the story on this Kavanaugh stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then, but in the case of the KBJ hearings, were they hard on her? Yes.
Yes.
Was it rightly so? Probably. But even if it was unmerited, hearings are supposed to be critical and examining. This isn't just like a little, you know, let's get together and just make sure we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
I mean, ideally for both sides of the political spectrum, it should be, all right, we are going to seriously examine and really turn up the heat and the pressure on whoever you're looking to put on the Supreme Court. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
But as soon as that happens, everyone, you know, is just like, oh, they're so terrible and heartless and soulless.